Hello everyone, my name is Vicky Styles and today I'm going to be talking about The Last of Us. Now this is a new series that just got released this year and I'm going to be telling you the plot, the characters and everything you need to know in case you haven't seen the series since it's been released. So just stick to the end of this video and I promise this review is going to be as exciting as you expect it to be. Now, The Last of Us is a HBO's original series and it is also a game adaptation from Naughty Boy's PlayStation game of the same name. Now, the movie of the series focuses on the same exact characters from the game. Now, in total, this series has 9 episodes, so it won't, be hard for you to check out on any platform or whatever. And it has been renewed for season 2. I don't know if filming and production have started for that one, but at least what we do know for now is that they have approved the season 2. Now, as far as I know, this series was written by Craig Mazin and it was also written and produced by Neil Druckmann. This series primarily focuses on some kind of fungal infection and pandemic that struck the world from all the way back in 2003 or something like that. Now, as the years went by, many years after the pandemic began, Tess and Joel are tasked with this mission to take Ellie across a post apocalyptic United States, and their mission is to take Ellie to some people. I've forgotten their exact names. And when they get there, these people are supposed to use Ellie's blood to create some kind of cure for the entire pandemic. Now, of course, they go on the mission, they agree based on some certain terms and conditions agreed within the discussion. Now, as they go on, unfortunately, Tess becomes infected and she has to kill herself. So Joel and Ellie, sorry, are left to wander about the streets of the United States until they finally get to where the destination they want to go to. But that's left for you to find out if they got to their destination or not. So try checking out the series yourself in order to get full details of the movie. There are a lot of characters in this series, but here I'm going to focus on the major characters that you will definitely meet as you proceed in the series. The first being the main character, Joel. Joel, before pandemic, was a single dad and a working man, and post pandemic, he becomes a smuggler. He has this partner who is named Tess, and as time goes on, he and Tess get tasked with the mission that I stated earlier. Now, unfortunately, he loses his partner Tess and he has to go on alone with Ellie. And as time goes on, he finds a way to have this kind of father daughter, bonding with her. So, the next character that I'm talking about is Ellie, who is this zombie immune teenager. For some reason, it seems like she's immune to this thing. No matter how many times they bite her, she doesn't get infected. Now, the reason for this, according to the storyline, is that she, you know, has some, elements in her body that makes her immune to the virus, and so therefore, those elements can also be a cure to every other person who has been infected in the past. Now, she goes with Tess and Jake. Unfortunately, Tess dies, and now she's left with Jake. So she has no other choice but to trust Jake, because if anything happens to him, well, she becomes vulnerable at that point. Now, the next character being Tess. Tess, I don't know what happened to her before pandemic, but after pandemic, she becomes a smuggler and a partner to Jake. Now, as they get recruited for this mission, unfortunately, she gets bitten by one of the zombies, and as a result of that, she has no choice but to let Jake and Tess go so that she can kill herself and the other zombies around her. This would give them enough time to run away and all that. The other character that I will talk about is Sarah. Now, Sarah only has pre-pandemic, life here, and she is the daughter to Joel, and she's some kind of friendly person. She gives Joel this kind of fatherly experience until the pandemic begins. And as the pandemic begins, they get involved in an accident. They get stopped by an officer who has no other choice but to follow orders. He shoots Sarah, and I guess that's where her life ended in the movie. The next character being Tommy. Tommy is Joel's brother, and before pandemic, he was already a bad person in the society, had a lot of criminal records. Post pandemic, he became a smuggler alongside his brother and his brother's partner, and suddenly he goes missing. So Jake makes a deal that if he can take Ellie across the country, then they will also help him find his brother Tommy. So that is all the characters that I will talk about for this series. There are lots of other characters, but you'll find them out yourself as you proceed. Before we continue this video, please subscribe to this channel, like this video, make your comments, and share this video with your friends. Also, click the bell notification beside the subscribe button so you can get notified anytime I upload a new video to this channel. That is one of the best ways you can remain subscribed to this channel. The themes of this series include mass infection or pandemic, if you want to call it that. Love is also a theme. Betrayal, friendship, companionship, partnership. These are all themes that you will come across as you proceed in the series. Now, I don't really know how faithful the storyline of the series was to the storyline of the game, but what I do know and what I did read about the entire thing is that the producers of the series made sure that they put focus on every single character from the game. So at least that alone makes me know that maybe they were to a certain extent faithful to the source material. Now, let's talk about the fact that this series is very much comparable to that of Umbrella Academy. Reason being that each episode, or let me just say each character shown in the series, they made sure that they explored the history of these characters, and that is exactly what Umbrella Academy did during its own run on Netflix. This series, on the other hand, made sure that each episode explored any new character that came up in the series. They explored them, they showed us their history, and they showed us everything realistic about these characters until they eventually died. That is one good aspect to me of the series. Other good aspects of the series include the set design. Of course, it does make sense that in a post-apocalyptic world, there will definitely be grasses in almost everywhere. And it also makes sense that some of the cars that are just abandoned on the road and all that. So set design made real sense to me. VFX also was one of the good aspects of this production. Guns as props, I think, to me, that they were much faithful in the kind of weapons used in the game as well. So that was also a good aspect of the series. And lastly, actors' performances. Well, every actor does well in portraying their roles, but it's one thing to actually star as a zombie in a movie like this. Starring as a zombie, you have to, position your body in certain ways. You have to act in crazy ways just to make sure that you actually look the part and you actually, play the part very well. So I give the actors credit for their roles, especially the people who starred as, the various kinds of zombies. They really did well to endure those makeup procedures and all that. Although the soundtracks were all very pleasing to hear, I am just describing this movie as a not too dark way of portraying a zombie apocalypse. Usually, for these kinds of movies, we all know how dark these movies can become. Maybe it might not be zombies, but at least vampires or something. We all know how dark these kinds of series and movies become. But this one wasn't too dark, and it was very much focused on the humans rather than the zombies. So that's a very good part for this series. I am giving this series a 9 out of 10. Everything in this series was good, but if you watch the series at some point you might feel sleepy, and I really don't like it when I feel sleepy and I'm watching a movie. It seems like it's not good enough to keep me awake at every given point in time. So I'm just going to give this series a 9 out of 10 for that. For recommendations, if you are not a gay, lover, or a gay enthusiast, please just beware of any kind of gay scenes. I know there is a particular episode where there is this gay couple, and I know that at some point, you might stumble into these kinds of things at unaware. So please just beware of gay scenes. And aside that, parental guidance is advised for viewers younger than 18. Thank you very much for checking out my video, and that's all I can say about the series for now. Well, we'll have to wait until season 2 before I do any other kind of review for this topic, The Last of Us Ever Again. Until my next video, you can make a comment on this channel and I will put it out in my next video, no matter what video you comment on. And again, if you want to follow me on any other platform aside YouTube, if you also want to check out my other YouTube links, all of them are linked in the description below, so just check them out in that place. And share this video with your friends so that they too can also watch this video and possibly subscribe. That would be a very good way of supporting me in my YouTube journey. For now, and until my next video, thank you for watching and stay safe.